Yo, what's up, guys? Quick live stream. We're going to go through some bets. So we got some good plays open on Underdog Fantasy. We got a bunch of good plays open, but always room to place some more bets. So I hit my Flex Friday play earlier today, so I'm not going to be looking for that. I hit that on the previous live stream if you want to go and watch that. But what I'm going to be looking for is just some good plays, just some good bets. Nothing wrong. I mean, we're always looking to have as many plays with an edge as possible, right? It's like if you're a good poker player, you want to play as many hands as possible at the table. It's the same thing as a sports bettor. So you can take a look at this play. The first play OddsJam is recommending is Mayer over 20.5 receiving yards. So if you take a look, you'll see all the books in general. You can pull up these line movement charts. His lines have been moving towards the over, right? Caesar Sportsbook now has him as a pretty big favorite, minus 145 to go over. Same with Pinnacle. So when you're finding your bets on PrizePicks or picks on Underdog Fantasy, you know, all the OddsJam software is going to do is kind of scan, read in all this crap, and try to point out value, right? So the main strategy for beating PrizePicks is exactly this, right? You want to find spots where sportsbooks, we're comparing the lines on PrizePicks to those on the sportsbooks, where sportsbooks have a line heavily favored. That's kind of PrizePicks strategy. PrizePicks doesn't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. You know, if we take Gardner's over or his under, we're getting the same payout. So the main strategy for beating PrizePicks is you want to find lines where sportsbooks have an over heavily favored. And in this case, it's Michael Mayer. So if you go through the math behind PrizePicks, which I've done in a ton of other videos, basically to be profitable on PrizePicks, you just have to win these over-unders above 54.25% of the time. So the easiest way to do that is you just look for spots where sportsbooks have an over really heavily favored. All the books have his over favored. This is a pick winning above 54.25% of the time, and it's a good play to go with on PrizePicks. So we can start out there, and it looks like there's a bunch of plays on PrizePicks available, which is great for us. So this play just popped up. Metcalf, on the other hand, look at this. Lines have been ripping towards his under. So these lines are always moving around, you know. I've kind of said this before, but like lineup changes, right? Sometimes it's lineup changes. When official starting lineups are released, you know, this will move around the lines. You know, like let's say the starting pitchers, you know, like whatever, maybe this causes the money line to move or the total to move. Like the market's always reacting to new information. So I'm not sure, but you can see lines just fell off a cliff and ripped towards Metcalf's under. Maybe he said his knee hurts, or maybe the coach said we're going to be running the ball more. Who knows? Or maybe, you know, there's a lot of reasons lines can move. But we got two good picks to start with. And it's a pretty simple strategy. I mean, usually I just kind of start out on this positive EV tool. So we want to go to Metcalf, and we want to take him under 4.5 receptions. And sometimes these really good lines will move quickly. So, you know, I try to move quickly. So you can see K. Dotton under 21.5 receiving yards. All books have his under favored. So it's pretty simple. Like PrizePicks, again, they got fixed payouts. The entire platform, if you want to make money on this platform, it all just boils down. You know, it doesn't matter what picks you select. You're always getting the same payout for a 5-pick flex play. So it all just boils down to, can you win your picks? Can you win your over-unders above 54.25% of the time? So this positive EV tool is just kind of, you know, scanning the market, trying to point out plays on PrizePicks where an under is very heavily favored or an over is really heavily favored. So we got Metcalf. So it's like, okay, we got some good picks to go with. So let me remove these. And what we can do is we can see if there's anything else that looks particularly interesting. So some of these plays I'm already on as well. But like, take a look at this. We got Chasey over 2. Damn, they already bumped Metcalf on us. So that's what I mean. Like, sometimes you got to, I mean, some of these lines move pretty quick, but it's fine. We'll find some more good plays. So if you look at Chasey's line, his line is 2.5 on Underdog. Where's his line on Hot Streak? We can take a look at Hot Streak as well. They have his line at 2.5 as well. So all these other books are telling us, yo, this guy's line should be at 2.5. So it's like, okay, that seems like a pretty good play to go with. And then it's same thing with this play on Canyon. So finding value, I mean, this even is a play you could possibly middle bet. I mean, right, 3.5 versus 4.5 is a crazy discrepancy. What we could even do is we could middle bet this, right? You could hit his over 3.5 on PrizePicks and his under 4.5 on Underdog Fantasy. Then if he has exactly 4 kills in map 1-2, we'll win both bets. You know, it's kind of like buying a stock at 350 on Fidelity and then flipping it, selling it for 450 on E-Trade. But you're not going to be able to do that in the stock market because the stock market is too efficient. You know, there's one price for a stock. You go to Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood, maybe the platforms look slightly different, but there's one price. What's crazy about sports betting is all these books, they all try to set their own lines. And, you know, that's why there's a lot of opportunity. So I already have this play on Curry. One play we could go with is Walker, Kenneth Walker, over, well, it actually looks like they just bumped him up. They had his line at 72.5 rushing yards. All the other books had his line higher, but it looks like they just bumped that up. So let's refresh this. So we got some good plays on PrizePicks. The markets are always moving. Players are becoming questionable, unquestionable. That's kind of why good bets can occur at, you know, really any time. Damn, here we got another play. Got some esports value coming up. So Canna over 5. And this play pairs very well. It pairs very nicely with this play on Canyon. So players on the same team are positively correlated to go the same direction. So basically, like, it's pretty simple. In college football, you know, if we wanted to take Preston Stone, so we already have 5 picks, it looks like. So that's pretty cool. So we got 5 picks. We could make a 6-pick flex play if we wanted to. But honestly, let's just lock this in before any of the lines move. So it looks like the most random slip of all time. Damn. So you can see PrizePicks just bumped another one on me. It's like they're on this live stream. But anyways, right, like on PrizePicks, what's really awesome about this platform is you can exploit correlation, right? So for example, and then I got to get moving. Then we got to place this play. For example, if I wanted to take, you know, St. Brown over in receiving yards, well, it probably makes sense to take Jared Goff over in passing yards. We're getting the same payout, 25x, 2x, 0.4x. And it would make no sense to take the quarterback to go over and then, you know, St. Brown to go under. It would make no sense to take Goff over, St. Brown under. Like, these things pair well together. They're positively correlated to go the same direction. So in the NFL, it's pretty easy. But in esports, in League of Legends, if you look through the historical data, what you're going to see, long story short, is players on the same team. You want to take them to go the same direction. So anyways, what we can do very quickly is let's go to, you know, we can look at some of these touchdown lines. So for example, like Tyreek Hill, again, all PrizePicks gives us the same payout regardless of the picks we select. So all we're trying to do is find picks with the highest possible win rate. So you can see Tyreek Hill is slightly favored to score a touchdown. Obviously, he's having a great season, but he's only a slight favorite to score. They're playing the Eagles, so a tougher opponent this weekend. But if you look at like Isaiah Pacheco, who we had in other slips, I took his under. He's heavily favored to not score a touchdown, to go under. Pretty big favorite, minus 150. But that play I've already locked in. But one play that I think I'm going to like, yep, this play looks incredible. So this play looks best of all. Cooper Kupp, no touchdown. You look at Pinnacle. So this sportsbook right here, Pinnacle, if we go back here, this is known to be the sharpest bookmaker, and you can see this line on Metcalf. OddsJam is telling us it moved. So really, like, you're like a day trader. You know, you got to move quickly on these lines. But Pinnacle has the under heavily favored. Pinnacle is known to be one of the sharpest or smartest sports books. Pinnacle or Penny, these are the same. Penny, Pinnacle. It has 2 names, abbreviations, so we have both on the website. But you can see for Cooper Kupp, all the books have him heavily favored to go under. Again, the data never lies long term. Like, these books are experts in setting lines. They've invested millions of dollars in their ability to process information like lineups, their models. You're not just going to spin up a better model than Caesar Sportsbook. Caesar Sportsbook is, it's a $10 billion company. They have really good models, tons of data scientists, better data feeds. The way you beat these books is you use all this market information, like you're a trader or an investor, to kind of find good plays. So the final play we want to go with is Cooper Kupp, no touchdown. And again, PrizePicks, freaking giving me $25 betting limits. But hey, that's just kind of how it is. So we'll take this. Looks like the most random slip of all time, but hey, that's just how it is sometimes. So we can go back here. And, another play that looks halfway decent is Chase Young over 0.75 sacks. So what kind of sucks, though, is some of these more niche markets, right? Like when we're considering betting on Metcalf receptions or something like that, is you have tons of data points, right? So Geno Smith passing completions, you can see there's all these different books posting lines. Like you have a pretty good sense of where the line should be set. They all have Geno heavily favored to go under. We got a lot of data points, whereas player sacks, it's just like not a ton of books have lines up for that. But still, whatever, we'll take DraftKings and we can lock it in. I mean, we have 5 really good picks too, so whatever. We'll take Chase Young. He's looked great this season. And you'll see for 5 flex or for 6 flexes, PrizePicks only gives me a $10 max bet size. And again, on PrizePicks, you want to be going with 5 or 6 pick flex plays. It may not seem like a big deal how many picks you go with, but like, for example, for these 3 pick entries, PrizePicks only gives you a 5x payout. You're putting down 10 to win 50. Whereas on Underdog Fantasy, you'll notice all these entries are 6x payout, 100 to win 600. So it does kind of matter. Like PrizePicks, you want to go with 5 or 6 pick flex plays, whereas Underdog Fantasy, they have pretty good payouts for these flex plays. For these 3 pick entries. So what we can do now is we can kind of move on to take a look at, ParlayPlay or something. Like, again, more books you got, the better. There's some good plays on Underdog, it looked like, as well. I mean, we kind of cleared out PrizePicks. I kind of bounce around from book to book. I'll play some bets on Caesars. I'll see if there's any good promos on Caesars. So all these books, like the same way PrizePicks has this no-brainer promo. It's basically free money on Curry to score a point. A lot of these books have pretty good promos. So like Caesars, for example, has a 33% NFL parlay boost. So what I did was I just went to the EV tool, found 4 plays with value, just following the data. Again, I know I'm not smarter than FanDuel, DraftKings, Fliff, everything, right? Like, so I'm just looking for value in the market and trying to place a lot of bets with an edge. It's kind of like when you're the best poker player, you want to play as many hands as possible. You're not going to win every time. Sometimes you'll get dealt 2-7. Sometimes you'll get crappy cards. But when you're placing bets with an edge, following the data, same thing in poker, you're going to win long term. So like this is a play I locked in, on Caesars in my parlay for that promo, for the parlay profit boost. Caesars has this at minus 123. All the other books, FanDuel has this at minus 158. Like, we're finding value in the market because, again, everything is baked into the market. Weather, injuries, lineups, everything's baked into the market. Like, put your emotions aside, your gut aside. It may be snowing in Buffalo, whatever. It's all already priced into the odds that sportsbooks are putting out, So anyways, if we go back here, right, we can take a look, see, okay, maybe something new popped up on PrizePicks. A lot of these plays we've already locked in. We have Kana, we have Chasey, we have Canyon. So, okay, we got all those plays locked in. Some pretty big esports line discrepancies. So let's move on to Underdog. Seems like we cleared out a lot of the good plays on PrizePicks. I just kind of, bounce around from book to book. So again, like we want to see discrepancies, right? You want to see spots where books are screwing up or where they're different from the rest of the market. So if we look at Kyle McCord, so we're going to have a play for the Ohio State game. It's not as many books. Again, it's not as liquid of a market, but you're going to see, They have his line on FanDuel at 26.5. Even if you don't use FanDuel, it's a $10 billion company with really sophisticated models. They're taking bets. They know which other customers are sharp, are most profitable. They're moving around lines based on where action's coming in. Is the price is 26.5, or the line is set at 26.5. So what we could do is we could middle bet this, right? Hit the over 26.5, the under 29.5 on Underdog. If he has 27, 28, or 29 attempts, we're going to win both bets, right? But it's pretty clear, like, underdogs decide that's screwing up, so maybe we just take the under, right? And then this play on Canyon, it seemed like there was some value again. So let's reload this. So let's go here. Now I got to refresh this. Got so many tabs open sometimes. But if we go back to Canyon, it's recommending under 4.5. So under 4.5. Again, this was the line where PrizePicks has his line set at 3.5. Again, that's crazy, right? So what we can do is, I don't love to middle bet. I think it's boring. But this one, it's like, whatever, we can middle bet. And then we got another play, and sometimes there's better bets, more bets on PrizePicks. Sometimes it's Underdog Fantasy. So you check out this play, 4 here. All the other books have his line at 4.5. So this play, it seems pretty clear that, like, Underdog Fantasy is the side that's screwing up. So again, middle betting, it's like we bought him at 350 on PrizePicks. We're selling him. We're taking his under at 450 on Underdog. Like, that's how you think as a sharp better. It's not just, oh, I want to bet on LeBron James. I'm going to take him over in points. Like, that's not the way you're going to, make money sports betting. You got to think a little deeper than that, And again, like, if there's any picks you hate, you don't have to take them all. I always say, like, I follow personally a very data-driven approach, But so we have 3 picks now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this in. So what sucks is on PrizePicks, okay, you can pair League of Legends players from the same team both to go over. That's positively correlated. But I couldn't middle bet Canna. I can't play that on I can't middle bet on Underdog Fantasy. They won't let you bet on players on the same team both to go under. Underdog blocks the correlation. So what I have to do is I have to go here and I can middle bet this in a different slip. So we'll take Canna under 6 on Underdog. You got to remember 5 versus 6 is like, that's a big discrepancy. It's really big. But what we can do, I think, are they not going to let me bet it? Maybe not. They used to let you bet on players on opposing teams. You're going to see Underdog is blocking it. So they're not going to let me pair this play, which is in the same game. So that kind of sucks. What we can do is, we can continue to look for some plays. Like, again, sometimes these books block positive correlation. Sometimes they don't. But the next play OddsJam's recommending is Tez Johnson. So if we go over to the Oregon game, again, like, it seems crazy to a lot of people, just like, damn, you really just follow the data. But again, like, once you start making big profit sports betting and you realize, just following the data, first of all, it's easy to do. Sportsbooks have his line at 3.5, on FanDuel. Like, once you give up, like, once you acknowledge you're not going to outsmart FanDuel Sportsbook with your gut, that's what 99% of sports bettors do. It doesn't work. Just betting random crap with your gut. You got to find value in the market. It's 2023. Like, you got to be using data. But once you acknowledge that, like, it becomes pretty easy to, make money. So we have Kyle McCord again, but I'm not going to be able to bet that because can't bet on players on the same team. Or I already hit my max. So the hard part is just getting down the volume. Like, I'm up $40,000-ish on Underdog Fantasy this year. So here we have another play. Han Sama over 5. So this plays from a different game. You can see all the sports books have his line at 6. That's why OddsJam's recommending the over. It's just pointing out discrepancies. There's really nothing super complicated going on here. Damn, there are a lot of plays right now. A lot. League of Legends is back. And again, esports is great to bet on just because there's so many games. Like, if you go over here, you can see, like, NFL there's whatever, 8 games on Sunday, something like that, 10. Look how many esports games are today. Like, there's a lot of surface area for these books to cover. Quentin Johnson under 2.5 receptions, right? So literally, you're just trying to find a bunch of plays with an edge, lock them in, 5-pick insured entry, and move on with your life. So here's what I locked in right here. So we can take a look here. And again, volume is important. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, why don't you spend all day and just look for one bet? So here you can see Quentin Johnson, heavily favored to go under. Underdog Fantasy gives you the same payout if you take his over or his under. So the under is the sharp pick. A lot of people say, oh, why don't you just place one bet a day? One lock of the day. And it's like, well, first of all, Underdog Fantasy, because I've been extremely profitable on them, they only give me a max bet size of $100. So even if I had a 50% ROI on Underdog, if I'm only placing one bet a day, 50% ROI would be crazy. That would be $50 in profit per day. Like, you want, when you have the edge, you want to place a lot of bets. So Diggs over 6.5 receptions. So here we have a nice little 3-pick entry we can build. Whoa, where's our boy Diggs? So let's go back here. Oh, it's not in game. So I want to go back to all. So you'll see Diggs is heavily favored to go over 6.5 receptions, minus 145 on all these sports books. He's more likely to go over according to the data points that we have. So we go here, we go to receiving props and we look at Diggs. Favored to go over, right? Underdog going to give us that same damn payout. If we take him to go over or under, we're still getting a 3x payout, so we want to take his over. So, okay. What else do you got? Hyped under 30 and Nisqui over 3. Hyped under 30 and Nisqui under 3. And then we have another little 3-pick entry. So we'll lock it in. A bunch of plays with an edge. So like when I previously worked as a trader, you wanted to have as many trades as possible in a day that all have a mathematical edge, right? More trades means you're making more money, right? As many trades with an edge as possible. But again, sometimes there's no value. So then at that point, if there's no good trades, you don't want to trade anything, right? So you can see right now on Sleeper, let's actually take a look. We can see everything's in red. There's no value. So I don't want to force a bet. Sometimes there's better bets than others, which is why it's beneficial to have, a bunch of these sports books. Like you can see on this platform, ParlayPlay, it works very similar to Underdog Fantasy, PrizePicks, everything like that. They also have fixed payouts. I've been using them for a bit. So you can see the first play it's recommending, let's go back here, is we want to look at defense props and then tackles plus assists. There's been a lot of value in tackles plus assists, and it's recommending we take Josh Woods under 4.5. So it's like, what are they doing with this line at 4.5? All the sports books have that line as like a minus 166 favorite. So literally just following the data, this one sports book, profit on the year, they only have a $60 max bet size, and I'm up 7K almost, 6.6K. $70 or $60 max bet size. So it's like, it builds up. Nothing's a lock, but when you're placing bets with an edge, you'll win long term. Damn. So, and sometimes the value, you can see here, it's like all the books, every single book has Ewers, his line at 284.5 to 295.5. 292.5 here, 300.5 on PrizePicks. But in general, all the books have this line significantly lower than ParlayPlay has it. All those books are data points telling us, their line's way too high. So we want to hit the under there. And then we can kind of zone out. You can see FanDuel has this line at 284.5. Could bet the over 284.5, the under 305.5 if we wanted to. You could just head over to FanDuel and go to the Texas game, right? Just go to passing props. You could kind of hedge a little bit, get him over 284.5 yards. Then you have a 21-yard middle. if he has 285 to 305 passing yards, you'll win both bets. Seems like a pretty good deal. And again, like Quinn Ewers, like he's very likely to throw around 300 yards. He's not going to throw for 800 yards. He's not going to throw for 0 yards. So those yards around where his line is set, like 20 yards is a huge middle. But anyways, let's go back here. So we're going to have to move quickly. Geno Smith under in passing completions. All the books have him super heavily favored to go under. And again, like it seems simple. It seems boring to say over and over again, but that's just how you beat these platforms. They're giving us a 5x payout regardless of if we take him over or under. Every book, all these billion-dollar companies are telling you, hey, he's a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over, right? So that's the play you want to go with. I mean, I don't have much else to say aside from that. Rational, data-driven sports betting. So then we got our boy Moore. So I don't want to take a Cardinals defensive player and offensive player under. In general, you don't want to do that. We have Noah Fant under 22.5 receiving yards. Take a look at him. So this play pairs pretty well. These plays all pair well. If Geno goes under, right, if the Cardinals have possession of the ball longer, right, he's more likely to go under. Josh Woods, Cardinals defender, and the Seahawks players are more likely to go under. So these plays actually pair really well together. So we got some positive correlation in the mix. We got Higbee under 14.5 longest reception. So we can go ahead here. And that's first Pitt. So we got one random college football bet. Man, there's a lot of value on ParlayPlay right now. So you can see I use all these books. It's like overwhelming sometimes just, you know, like how many bets can be available. So everyone loves PrizePicks. PrizePicks is great. I mean, not actually because they limited me to $25. But I mean, this random sportsbook ParlayPlay that I knew nothing about until I saw someone mention it on Twitter. I'm up $7,000 profit. Just finding these good bets. Bryson Stott over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. All books have his over, heavily favored. So we're probably going to be able to create 2 slips on ParlayPlay. So we can go here, and then I'll lock it in for my max of $60. And there we have our first slip on ParlayPlay. But you can see it doesn't stop there. We got Xavier Worthy also in the Texas game, right? And again, I never let my gut get in the way, right? I actually like watching Xavier. Like, you know, sometimes, so let's go here. I want to go to rushing yards. Why isn't this working? Anyways, not sure. But you can see all these books have his line at 76.5. It's like, okay, that seems like a good play to go with. We already have that play on Geno. Quinn, oh, this play pairs well together. This is exactly what we want to see. Quinn under 2.5 passing touchdowns, right? These plays pair very well together. Texas, Houston. Haynes King, all the books have his line around 253.5. Tua, under in passing attempts. We got Dolphins, Eagles. That's going to be a great game. Haynes King, under. Tua, under in attempts. All the other books have his line lower. So, man, we got an unders parade going on right now. All the books have his line at 34.5. I mean, it's just clear as day. Clear edge. And we can actually see, I mean, this is going to be obviously a great game. Sunday Night Football. Line's moving towards the Eagles. I'm on them minus 120. I'm not sure how I feel about it watching the Dolphins play. I got them earlier in the week at minus 120-ish, somewhere up here. Now they're down to like minus 147, but obviously should be crazy good game. So what we can do now is we can go back here, and we still need a few more picks. So we have Tua. What do we want to go with? Kiaya over Appa under. So these plays pair well together. I said on Underdog, you can't play any players from the same team, right? But you can see OddsJam is saying, hey, take the over 4 for Kiaya, take Appa's under 6.5. So again, like, you can always just avoid playing players on the same team, but you can see this player, Appa or Kiaya, all the books have her line higher at 5 or 4.5 or his. But in League of Legends, players on the same team, take them both to go over or both to go under. Players on the same team, take them both to go the same direction. Players on opposite teams, opponents, one over, one under. If you look through the historical data, it's clear as day. That's the correlation. And I have another 6. Shoot, they already moved the line on Haynes King. So that's annoying. So let's refresh this, and we got to find one more pick to go with now. And I try to move quickly because, you know, again, like, some of these lines, they're just not gonna last that long. Baker Mayfield to throw an interception, whatever. We have some really good picks. They also pair well together. An added benefit, again, is the positive correlation here. Baker Mayfield to throw an interception is one we could go with. We could also go with, you know, Michigan under in receiving yards. And let's take Christopher Sanchez under 4 hits allowed. Why not? So let's get rid of this play on Baker. There's some higher EV plays, I realized. So we can go here. Right, it's kind of like investing in the stock market for the long haul. Is you're just finding plays with an edge. You're not getting emotional. You know, the stock market goes down a bit some days. It always ends up going up over the course of the long run if the economy grows. So you just kind of follow the data, you know, invest. Damn, so here's a crazy good arbitrage bet. So this is something I would totally bet. So arbitrage, again, is when these books get so out of sync that you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, and make a risk-free profit. So here you can see it's in Temple's first half team total. So it's the most random bet of all time. Temple first half over 6.5, and then you have Temple first half under 6.5. So you're literally capitalizing on inefficiencies in the sports betting market to make a risk-free profit. This is how I started sports betting, and Fliff is great for arbitrage betting. I actually have a lot of arbitrage bets open on Fliff. Make risk-free money. So you can see DraftKings has the over at -135, and Fliff has the under at +145. So Fliff has a maximum bet size of 250. So you'll see most of my bets on Fliff are for $250, 250, you know, at least overall 250. So you can make a risk-free 1064 here, and I'll show you how. And what the calculator tells you is, hey, due to this massive discrepancy between DraftKings and Fliff, you could make a risk-free profit if you bet 250 on Fliff of 1064, but you have to hedge on DraftKings $351. Usually I recommend rounding your numbers when you're arbitrage betting. So round this to 350, you know. And then we can go through your profit, our profit. So if they go over on DraftKings, we win 350 times 100 over 135. And on Fliff, we lose 250. So we're up $9 in profit. And the only difference is when you round your numbers, right? Your profit's just going to be like $1.86 because we're rounding down on DraftKings. Just like a $2 lower if they go over or under, but you still make money no matter what. So if they go over, we make $9. We win on DraftKings. We lose on Fliff. Now, if they go under, if they have 6 or less points, we're betting equal and opposite outcomes when we're arbitrage betting. On Fliff, we go up 250 times, 1.45. We bet 250 up. So we make $13. So in both cases, we make money. So arbitrage betting, you're just day trading the sports books. I mean, literally, that's what you're doing. You can see Fliff already moved down to +140. So this arbitrage bet got a little worse. But this is how I started sports betting. And arbitrage betting is a grind. Some days there's better arbitrage bets than others. but you're just capitalizing on the inefficiencies in this on sportsbooks to make a risk-free profit. But anyways, we cleared out a lot of the value. You can see there's some good bets on FanDuel for tonight. I haven't seen a ton of bets on Fliff for today. I've seen some arbitrage bets, but if we just go here, Trey Turner to hit a home run. I have that in a FanDuel promo. Yeah, I just haven't seen a ton of bets on Fliff today, which is rare. Usually Fliff has pretty good bets available. But you can also arbitrage bet, as I was saying in the last live stream, a lot of these promos. So like FanDuel, for example, has a 50% profit boost for Ohio State, Penn State. So anything you want to bet is going to go up 50%. The odds are going to get 50% better. So what you can do is you can go to this low holds tool. Did I just see some NBA bets? And if we go to Ohio State, right? If we look up this game, we can see, is there this tool, it's called the low holds tool. Right here, it just shows you where FanDuel has some decent value. So you can see they're giving you the best odds on Penn State's team total, Penn State over 21.5. So you'd be getting this at plus 150 if you put your promo bet on it, right? 50% profit boost on the Ohio State game. You're going to get, so you'd be getting plus 150. And Pinnacle has this favored. So you'd be getting plus 150 when the sharpest bookmaker, Pinnacle, has the over favored. But what you could also do is you could arbitrage bet it, right? Caesars has the under at minus 110. So, again, arbitrage betting is how I started sports betting. And usually these FanDuel promos, I think it depends on what state you're in, but it seems like most people get them, these 50% profit boosts for a max of $50. So if we just go to arbitrage and pull up a little hedge calculator, on FanDuel, we're getting the over at plus 150, right? So we can just arbit. It's going to tell us hedge $65 on Caesars, and you'll turn this promo into a risk-free profit. Penn State over 20.5, under 20.5. So it's boring, but all these promos, all these 50% profit boosts, you can turn in to a risk-free $10, $15, so FanDuel, if Penn State goes over, we're going to be up $75, right? 50 times 1.5. We bet $50 on their team total over. On Caesars, we're down $65 because I just rounded this arbitrage calculator. Don't bet 65.48 and sketch out the sports books. Just round your bet size to 65. So by hedging on Caesars, we'll make a risk-free profit of $10. On the other hand, if they go under, we lose $50 on FanDuel. On Caesars, we're up 65 times 100 over 110, $59. We make $9. So it takes 2 seconds to do. Just log into Caesars, log into FanDuel, bet this bet. You make a risk-free profit of $10. And it builds up over time. You're not getting rich quick, but this is how I started sports betting. And, your profits can build up pretty quick. So you can see this arbitrage bet. It looks like Fliff moved it. Well, now DraftKings moved. So the arbitrage bet went away. Anyways, were there any? It looked like I saw some plays popping up on NBA. So if we go back here. Am I crazy? I thought there were some NBA plays. There are some good plays. Colby Young, under 3.5 receptions. FanDuel has his line at 2.5. And again, I thought there were some NBA plays. Let's go back to ParlayPlay. NBA basketball. Maybe not. Let's go to PrizePicks. Here we go. So there are some sports books are starting to post NBA odds for opening day. Oh, baby. You can see there's already some discrepancies popping up. NBA rebounds. So no more WNBA. That shit just ended. Anthony Davis, rebound line, 12.5 on most books, 11.5 on FanDuel and PrizePicks. You know, some good middle bets popping up. Bet the over 11.5, the under 12.5. So we can just filter, you know, if you want to bet on a particular sport, I always recommend, like, you know, I like to bet on every sport, you know, wherever there's an edge, I want to bet. AD under 2.5 assists. That play looks decent. Curry over 4.5 threes. Aaron Gordon over 2.5 assists. Where's LeBron's assist line? So if we go here to assists, and again, this betting tool is the sportsbook screen. Just kind of shows you where all the books have their line set. So points plus rebounds plus assists. Man, we got a banger on Tuesday. We got the Warriors game, Warriors Suns, and then we have Lakers Nuggets. So they are not starting off the season slow by any means. Porter Jr. So let's start building a slip. So what we can do is we can go here and we can start building one. I already used that Curry promo. But if we wanted to, I mean, why not, right? We can take Porter Jr. Again, not as many books have posted lines yet for opening day, but whatever. Porter Jr. under. Aaron Gordon over. 2.5 assists. All the books have his over heavily favored. All the books have Porter's line at 21.5. Or maybe we just take that play on Porter. I already have Curry threes from another slip. And then we can go to the NFL. And again, this play on Cup is probably the best play on the board. PrizePicks boils down to win rate. What percentage of your picks can you win? They have fixed payouts. So if we go to Cup, I mean, this play is clear as day. The sharpest bookmaker out there has him as a minus 170 favorite to not score a touchdown. Again, I'm not saying it's a lock. Not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it's a good bet, you know, that you can possibly go with. It's a play with an edge. Barkley, not scoring. Okay? I mean, if we wanted a full fade parlay, could do something like this. We got Porter under. But anyways, let's see what else was there. So let's go back here to PrizePicks. We can reload. So let's zone out real quickly. Anthony Davis, under 2.5 assists. All the books have him heavily favored to go under. So if we go here to the Lakers game. So again, like a lot of good bets show up when books are first posting lines. That's when you'll see a lot of discrepancies. PrizePicks will probably wise up at some point and move this line. You can see he's a super big favorite to go under, right? On PrizePicks, you got to win just 54.2% of your picks to be profitable. He's a huge favorite to go under 2.5 assists. So that's a great play to go with, right? Are you kidding me? They just removed it. So you can see, like, some of these really good lines, they just aren't going to last forever. Damn. D'Angelo Russell under 15.5 points. Let's take a look at this. I mean, it looks like they're dropping a lot of NBA lines right now. So you can see basically every other sportsbook has his line at 13.5. FanDuel has his line at 15.5 too, but they have the under favored. So a lot of discrepancies in the market right now. So let's take D'Angelo Russell under. And then what we can do is, I guess we like these all. So we can take these three. I mean, maybe we can find something halfway better. Or maybe there's some more NBA plays again. I'm always a fan of getting down good early value. So we got Porter under, Russell under. Again, you can middle bet some of these if you want to. Head over to Fliff, right? If you go over to Fliff, this line's not going to last forever on PrizePicks. You go over to Fliff, bet him over 13.5. If he has 14 or 15 points, which again, his line is centered around, he's always in between, it seems like in games, between 8 and 16 points. That's a pretty big middle. Hit him over 13.5, under 15.5. So the fantasy optimizer just putting in the work, scrolling through all these lines, pointing out discrepancies, pointing out value. So we got Porter, we got Russell. And again, all of these esports plays would actually pair well. So we got Curry over in threes. Yeah. So anyways, I don't want to wait too long. So let's just lock in this play and then we'll call it a day. Maximum daily amount. It's like you only let me bet $10. What do you mean the maximum daily amount is $10,000? Are they even going to let me bet it? $15 max. Great. Thanks, PrizePicks. Anyways. So that's what I got going on. And again, that's another reason to have multiple books. More books, more promos. We just went through how you can turn this 50% profit boost into risk-free $10 by simply hedging on another sports book. It's not going to make you a millionaire overnight. It's a free $10, right? And you can always email me if you have questions, a free $10. But another reason to have multiple books is some books just have higher betting limits. So, for example, I'm on the under 55 in SMU Temple, which starts soon. They still let me bet 1,100 on any point spread I want. There's a lot of good bets on WinBet. The reason I don't focus on it in these live streams is it's just it's not available as many places. You can see arbitrage bets popping up, moving around. So we can go back here. So I just kind of bounce around from book to book, lock in the profitable promos on Underdog, lock in the profitable bets on Underdog, lock in the profitable plays on ParlayPlay. But again, ParlayPlay, it only gives you $60 max per player. I already locked in basically everything. So it's kind of okay, I already locked in all the good bets on ParlayPlay. I need 6 picks and a slip. So when I go back here, it's if we look at the board, it's I already locked in Quinn Ewers. I already locked in Xavier Worthy, right? There's not enough good bets yet to place another bet. This play on Baker is available, so that seems decent. But I kind of need lines to move around more there to be new plays. The hard part is getting down enough volume. Again, that's really what's hard as a sharp sports bettor. It's getting down all the volume you need. So what we can do is, are there any last plays we want to lock in? We'll call it a day for now. So anyways, thanks so much for your time.